Hey, Michael Leckie here, back with another in our series of What's the Question, where we take questions from the book, The Heart of Transformation, and look at them in light of current events that are going on now and see how they might apply. Normally, the questions in the book are really about questions we're using as new behaviors to help drive change and transformation in organizations. But as we look at things that maybe could have been done differently, which oftentimes, unfortunately, the news is basically full of stuff that could have been done differently. I'm going to take a look at some of those questions and see what might have been useful here. And so the a news item that I want to talk about is when recently Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida decided to send a plane load or two of undocumented immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, and they just showed up unawares. He was sending them up there, and this is I think it's an attempt to what's the phrase, to own the libs. And he's like, well, let's take a very, liberal, blue collar, well-to-do enclave like Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts and dump a bunch of illegal immigrants there. And ha, 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 now you have to deal with it, not just here in Florida or Texas. So the question that comes up for me on this is whose voice is missing? Now, normally I use this as what I call the echo chamber question to say when we're thinking about what we want to do, a change we might want to make, a strategy we have, a plan we have, in an organization to ensure that we're not just operating in an echo chamber of our own, limited beliefs, but we're actually getting some other views to help us be more thoughtful. In this case, I think it's a little more personal. Whose voice is missing? How about the voice of the actual human beings that they put onto a plane, didn't tell them where they were going, dropped them off somewhere they'd never been before, where they didn't speak the language, and no knowledge of why? It had to be frightening, completely bewildering. And I guess the best word I have for it, regardless of your politics, whether you sit on the Republican or Democrat or independent side of the aisle, is inhuman. The voice that was missing was the voice of the human beings who are actually involved in this. And I know that it's very kind of popular to think about people as a category or a group, and that makes them a little less human. So it's easier to make some, calls or judgments about them if we use, race or gender or something else that we want to use to categorize them, put them in a group. So here we have immigrants or undocumented immigrants, but they're still human beings. And regardless of how they ended up getting here, we should treat, human beings with compassion and with some insight into what it is they want and need, which honestly is probably not much different from the rest of us, which is a safe place to live and work and make a life for themselves. But whatever your views on immigration are, I think that when we're dealing with groups of other people and making decisions, whether it's in an organization or whether it's in a government like the one that DeSantis runs in Florida, we need to be thinking about the voice that may be missing might be the voice of the people in that group. And if we haven't heard from them, we're making some decisions about them that could affect them in not only small, but immeasurably large ways without actually getting their voice. And that's not a very human thing to do. So hopefully that was useful to you. Hopefully you'll pick up the Heart of Transformation. I'd love to continue the dialogue. And hopefully more than that, let it be a reminder for us all today just to be a little bit more human in dealing with each other, no matter who we are. Thanks. Have a great day.